Okay, now about the glue is the biggest topic because the glue is very important for work and it affects on the all capability of eyelashes. First of all, when you start to research about the glues, you will find millions of different brands and they arrive new every day, so you will be able to see big difference of the glues. But I want to say you that all glues from the world is coming from China or from Korea. So there is only two places where you can get it. I had experience with the glues from China and it was not really fine. I prefer the Korean glues. So first of all, make sure that your glue are fresh because the term of capability is not really long. There is like 6 months when it's closed and only a few months, like 2 months when it's open. So first of all, the glue have to be fresh. And you as a beginner, you better choose a little bit slower glue because there is a difference of them. Some glue is fast, like it starts to crystallize very fast, like less than 1 second. Some of them is crystallized longer, like even for a second, for those people who are working slowly. Any glue have their own speed, so you need to make sure you're choosing one which is good for you. Also, on the speed of glue affects a lot of conditions like the humidity, the temperature, and other things. First of all, when you are choosing the glue, you need to pay attention in which humidity and which temperature it works well. And then you need to check temperature in your lash room and humidity in your lash room also. With the time, you will understand to work good with the glue, to good cooperate, you need to think like a glue and you need to be a glue by yourself. So it's gonna work better. But first of all, when you see that your glue, which is, for example, fast, like 1 second, you see it starts to work too slow because it happens a lot, you need to see what you can change. If it starts to work slow, you can make the atmosphere a little bit warm, or you can make atmosphere a little bit more dry. So the work of the glue gonna change. You're gonna see how it's changed. I recommend it to you when you already pick up your own glue. I recommend it for you to try how it works with a different atmosphere before you start to work with it with a client. Also, if you want to change the speed of your glue, you can use some supplement liquids like a booster, like a primer. They can make a work of glue much more faster than before. A glue can be 2 components and 1 component. 1 component glue is more sassy, it's more complicated to work with it. So when you are choosing the glue, you need to pay attention if stabilizer is inside. If stabilizer is there, it means this glue is not really sassy and it's gonna work with a different temperature, it's gonna be more flexible for the atmosphere. Also, you have to pay attention for the features of the glue because normally glue stop to work when it's very hot, like when it starts to be more than 80 degrees, the glue not gonna work at all. But I hope you will not arrive to 80 degrees during your work. And also you need to pay attention on the toxicity because some of the glues is very toxic, so it can be a problem for you and your client to work with. All these conditions of the glue you can actually read on the bottle of the glue. Normally it's there on the bottom side, or you can also ask your supplier. Anyways, from somewhere you have to get this information because this information will give you opportunity to know how to work with this glue. And normally when you open the bottle, you need to put the date of opening on your bottle or on the thermopack, so you will be able to check how good is it and how fresh. When you get the glue already, when you're finished the work, you have to carry it in a thermopack and keep it on your working place. If the glue is still closed, you didn't open it yet, you're better save it into the fridge on the bottom of the fridge door because the temperature there is not too high. After you open the glue, you cannot put it into the fridge because the condensate gonna arrive inside and it's gonna spoil the glue. First of all, with work of the glue, you have to remember the cap have to always be closed very tight. For example, when you apply 1 drop, you have to check that you close it very good and put it this position. It cannot be laid down like this because the glue gonna be arrive here and it's gonna be more complicated to shake it. Because glue always have few components. One of the components is cyanoacrylate. It's the component which makes eyelashes stuck on eyelashes. It's glue itself and also black pigment. So when you are not shaking your glue and you start to work immediately, it separates inside and you put only pigment. So before you start your work, you need to shake it at least for 1 minute. And now I saw a lot of things, a lot of supplements which are gonna help you to shake it. Actually, I don't have, but some on websites you can find some things to shake it better. After you finish your work, I'm not gonna open it to show because this glue is very valuable for me. But after you finish applying the drop, sometimes glue arrives around the nose. So you are using the cotton pad to remove the glue and close, because sometimes when you are in a hurry working, you can forget that the glue is inside and the glue can stuck very well, like you will not be able to open it totally, or sometimes you open and your nose is closed like that, so you cannot arrive to your glue. So you have to always pay attention for your glue, because with these things its capability become less and less. And after you put the drop, you have to close it, and it doesn't need to communicate with the air a lot, because the air destroys the cyanoacrylate connections. So the glue starts to work much more slower, or it can be spoiled totally. For the old glue, the perfect atmosphere is the humidity is in between 40–60%, and the temperature is supposed to be like 22–24 degrees. Sometimes it's different for a different kind of glue, so you better double check conditions of your glue from the supplier. When you're working with the glue, you have to pay attention also what's going on around, because the perfumes, the ammiac from the bleaching hair, the things like that, like the toxic things, they can affect on the work of the glue also. So sometimes when your client came and she have a lot of perfumes, you have to pay attention for it, because normally it can affect from each other. Okay, when you already start to work with the glue, when you put drop and start to work, you have to pay attention of the drop, because it's a big thing. The glue can be fresh, but you didn't change the drop in time, and the whole work gonna be spoiled. So after you apply the drop, you need to see how it works. If the drop start to be not really liquid, like you start to see that lash is don't go inside as well, you need to change it. Normally you need to change the drop like every 15–20 minutes. Sometimes it's more rare, but you have to see on your drop if the conditions start to change. You have to change the drop. To apply the drop, you can use different things. This one, for example, is a professional thing for lash maker. It's a stone. It's held temperature for a long time, so it's always cold, and make the drop gonna be longer fresh. This one is also professional things. You can order from AliExpress or Lazada. This one I recommend use with a cotton pad, so the drop's gonna be more visible. Also, you can use this thing, you can put your glue here, but the disadvantage of this method, this is too light, so your drop can fly somewhere and stuck to your client's head or somewhere else, which is not really suitable for you. The last one you can find on Lashmaker Publix is the ring, but I don't recommend you to use it at all, because when you are using it, the drop moves inside and start to crystallize more faster, and also this one is also around your face, so you guys all breathing with these evaporations, which is not good for your health. When you apply the drop in this thing, like this, and you work with it, after you finish your work and you want to change the drop, you need to close this. You can close it with a primer like this, or even with the water. It makes the drop close, so evaporation doesn't go out no more. Because, for example, when you're working, it's better when you're working this side, then you start to put drop here, because evaporation of these 3 drops, if it's not close, gonna affect on this drop a lot. So when you're working, don't collect a lot of drops around your working place, because all of this gonna affect on your breathing. Okay, if you're applying the drop, not things like this, if you're applying a drop, for example, on this stone, you have to see the form of the drop supposed to be like a cone, where you can put your lash inside. And please understand better, when the cone is long time around, means the glue connecting with the atmosphere, with the air a lot. So the best glue from this drop is gonna be in the middle of the cone, like in the heart of the cone, I can even say. So if you see that you put a drop and it becomes too liquid, or it doesn't give you opportunity to put lash inside, it means the atmosphere is totally crap and your glue not gonna work at all. For the proper work of the glue, you need to put lash like this, slowly, not be in a hurry, because you see now the eyelashes is clean, but glue is there and you can make extension pretty and fine. But if you're gonna make it faster like this, you see the glue arrive on the top of the eyelash, I mean of the bottom of the eyelash, so your work gonna be a little bit dirty or something like that. But the amount of glue can be also different. For example, if the client have thick eyelashes, you have to use more glue, because the principle is you put fake eyelash on the eyelash and glue on the bottom of the fake eyelash cover the natural eyelash. So if the natural eyelash is too thick, you need to take more glue, and if eyelash is too thin, you need to use less glue. But for the normal eyelashes, I show you, like for the normal case, you can use the small amount of glue and things gonna be alright. How to understand which is the atmosphere around? If the drop inside your storage become too white, it means the humidity is very much. You need to make it lower. How to make the humidity lower? Normally is just to open the window and refresh your area a little bit. If you see that the glue works too slowly, you can add more humidity. For this, normally we use the humidifiers, which you can buy from the shop. Or, for example, you can put the glass with the water not far from your working place, or clean the floor, for example, something like that gonna be alright. Also, you need to understand, for example, if you work not far from the window, if it starts to be rainy outside, the humidity inside gonna be higher also. So you need to be flexible for these conditions, especially if you are living in a country where the season is changed a lot, like winter and summer. So 2 times during this year you need to adopt for a new atmosphere. So with time you will be able to understand how the glue works, but I will give you now the main tips so you will be able to adopt faster. If you see that the atmosphere is cold and dry, you can feel it. You need to work with the micro drop, like to add a little bit more glue. If you see that the weather is very hot, you need to work faster, because when it's hot, it means that your glue starts to work faster. If it's cold, it means your glue starts to work slowly. The same with humidity. If humidity is high, your glue is working faster. If humidity is low, your glue is working lower. And also sometimes you can see the mix of these conditions. For example, is too wet and too cold. For this, you can try to make the temperature a little bit higher, it's gonna work better. So you can compensate the atmosphere conditions with change of them. And also you can use, like I told you before, you can use the supplements like a booster or the primer. They normally make the work of glue much more faster, especially booster, it's especially for this. When you are choosing the glue, I mean the speed of the glue, you need to understand that speed of the glue means that time after you put your lash into the glue and bring it to natural eyelash. So this term, it means the speed of the glue. So you have to see if you are do it fast and you can separate the original eyelashes fast, your glue might be faster. If you work slow, like a beginner, I recommend for you to get a slower one. But when you are choosing the glue, you need to pay attention to price also. It's not supposed to be very cheap. The price of the normal glue gonna be like $30–40. I'm always telling you to follow the humidity and the temperature, because it's very important for the work of the glue. But how exactly you can know which kind of temperature and which kind of humidity in your area? For this, you can use this specific thing. This is a hygrometer. He shows you, you see now it's 25 degrees here and 45 is the humidity. Is not really enough for my glue, so if I will start to work, I will add a little bit more humidity. Normally I can do it with humidifier or even just wash the floor or just spray a little bit water around. To understand how to work with this hygrometer properly, I recommend you to get the notebook where you're gonna put the time, the name of your client and the temperature conditions which been there when you've been working. I recommend you to do it every time during 1 month when you just start. So after 1 month, after your clients start to come back to you, you can ask them how long the eyelashes been lasting on, so you can count which conditions is the perfect for your glue, so you will be able to keep it always and do the great job every time. This is the simple thing you can order from the AliExpress or some websites like that. Is not a rare thing and this is really cheap. And also this notebook, I will tell you later for what you can use it. Believe me, you have to take this notebook and you have to mention all these things. This is very important.